Hey everybody, it's the Dynamite Show. Paul Fontaine, Jeff Hawkins. Actually, the Dynamite Show Rewind here on the Fight Game Media YouTube channel, as well as people listening on the Fight Game Media free audio feed. And just a note for you watching on video, if you're chatting, we're not ignoring you. This show is being recorded at an earlier date and being broadcast on Sunday. So we won't see your chat, but you guys can talk amongst yourselves as you hopefully watch the show and comment.
Wait, hold on. You're making a really good point there, Curryhead.
Oh, good job. Yes, Fernando, the show was fire. Actually, be honest with you, if Fernando goes back and watches like 2020 shows right before he comes back, or 2021 and comes back and watches 2025 shows, I completely understand how every show is fire now.
Okay.
Because this show wasn't really fire. Although there was some cool stuff in it.
First hour was good, and then we got to the wrestling.
We got to like AEW Dark. And man, did you see the dark results that went on the screen? Oh my god.
I missed them.
There was like 13 I'm not going to bother reading them, but there's like 13 matches, and oh my god, like basically everybody you saw in the crowd was in one of those matches. That's something we'll get into. But yeah, just overall, Jeff, we originally picked this show, I think, because of Tully Blanchard wrestling. And then we didn't realize it was the same show as Jade Cargill's debut, as well as Shaq wrestling, obviously in the same match. And it was also the go-home show for Revolution.
Right.
Now, there's something that I doubt if you know. I think I had mentioned that this might have been the first Dynamite show that me and Parker had done, but I don't think it was the first, but it was one of the first.
Okay.
And at the time, the Dynamite show was on a Patreon, and you had to pay a monthly subscription fee in order to listen to it. I can't remember. It was maybe $10. And there was not just the Dynamite show, but you got basically almost like all the network. And at the time we had the MMA show, we had the boxing show, we had a strong style show, which is the one Jeremy and Steven do now. But it was at the time, I think it was JD Oliva and somebody else. We had, I don't know if the JD and Mike show was on there. Actually, no, they weren't on the Patreon. There's a few shows that weren't on the Patreon. The Rap wasn't on the Patreon. So anyways, point being, I had a gimmick going because this show had the pay-per-view had the exploding barbed wire death match, and it was Jon Moxley and Kenny Omega, and they had that lights out match about a year and a half earlier, and I said I'm never watching a pay-per-view with a match like that again. So when this came up, I'm like, we started the Dynamite show, and I'm like, yeah, I'm just full note, I'm not watching Revolution. Then I came up with a gimmick. I think it was on this show, or it might have been the previous show. If we can get 5 new Patreon subscriptions, I will buy the show. And we ended up getting 8. And they had to be people that would order and then send Garrett a message. I joined the Patreon because I want to force Paul to watch the barbed wire death match. And so it worked. It was promotion. And I'll be honest with you, I was not going to get Revolution. And it wasn't just because of that barbed wire death match. That show looked awful. I didn't go back to look and see how well it was received and everything. Everybody remembers the
69 me.
Yeah. But the lineup, oh my god, we'll get into it as we go over this show, but that was a bad lineup on paper. Don't you think?
Yeah, Revolution was 4 of 4. In the hierarchy at the time too, I believe, because I believe everybody thought that Full Gear was a little bit more important due to it being on the West Coast, type of a thing. I can't remember the lineup right now. I just
well, I didn't I couldn't tell you it right now, but I just, as I was watching this show and listening to them preview the matches, I was like, really? That's a pay-per-view. The selling thing,
given the people who were in the Face of the Revolution match, and the women's title match.
Oh my God. And the
Looked to be
selling
a
point,
smooth-
if I remember correctly, was the barbed wire death match, as well as what is Tony Khan's big surprise going to be? Or Big Show's big surprise going to be?
Right.
Hall of Fame level talent that has chosen to sign with AEW. And it's not who you think it is. And I can't remember who we were supposed to think it was. I'm thinking maybe Goldberg, but I don't know. I know who it was. Do you remember who it was?
Was it Mark Henry?
I think it was Christian.
Okay.
Yeah, let me look, because I think he was in the Face of the Revolution. I pulled up the card here.
I think we all thought Christian was going to sign with AEW.
Okay, he wasn't in the Face of the Revolution ladder match, I'll tell you that. Whoever it was, because there's one name in this that wasn't promoted, and it's a guy that's in WWE right now, and it ain't Christian, obviously, because he's not in WWE. I think it was Christian, but I really don't know, because he wasn't on the show. We'll Google it later and figure it out, but I think it was Christian, and I think the whole point was that people were let down by that, and what they didn't realize was that Christian was Tony Khan's favorite wrestler, and I guess in his mind, Christian was a Hall of Fame level talent, and maybe he is. I don't know. I wouldn't vote for him, but he's a fine hand, entertaining guy. Like, fine hand is bad. I mean, we saw one of the fine hands on this show. John Schuyler, or was it Jason Hotch? I can never remember which one of those two is which. Was it Hotch? Remember?
Where?
In the squash match against Pac and Phoenix.
I think it was Schuyler.
Schuyler, okay. Well, then Hotch was on the dark tapings.
Okay.
Yeah, he's one of the names. Yeah, so I mean, as I'm watching the show, like, there are people that would come out and I was like, oh wow, they were already in AEW, or they were still in AEW. Like, I was just baffled by this time frame. Like, there's a lot of people on the show that I just kind of like, this is like 5 years ago almost. And again, we played this game like the last time when we said, oh, who's better off and everything. And God, like, there's so many people on this show that you thought were going to be something, and they sure as hell aren't now.
It appears you are correct, though. It is
okay.
Christian Cage.
Christian Cage? Okay. Yeah. And it went over like a fart in church, if I'm recalling correctly. I remember thinking, well, this is like TNA, like now at this point, like if they're bringing in Christian Cage. And to be fair, I was wrong. He's done a great job in AEW. I don't know that he's helped anybody but Christian Cage, but he's done some entertaining television.
No, he's been fine. It's just the thing was, I think Tony originally brought him in to be a huge babyface superstar and found out that he's naturally a heel.
Okay. So you don't think he was always going to be a heel? Okay.
No,
okay.
because he's Tony Khan's favorite wrestler.
Right. And he was brought in and was supposed to mentor the Jurassic Express, and he teamed with them for like a year, I think.
Mm-hmm.
I seem to recall a match they did on a pay-per-view where it was like he basically replaced Marco Stunt, which is an upgrade, to say the least. And I think it was them three against the Bucks, and I can't remember who the third one was in that match, but it was, I think Dave Meltzer gave it 5 stars, and I remember watching it and it was like, that was maybe 4. It was on a pay-per-view, and it was like, at that point,
so it'd have to be Hangman or Omega probably.
Yeah, that's could have been Hangman. That was a weird one. Did you notice when Hangman comes out for the main event, they pointed out he was 5-0 in 2021, and he had just entered the top 5 for the first time in over a year. Like, what the hell? Like, in my mind, Hangman's been like at the top of the card like since this company started, but apparently not.
Rankings. Boy, who remembers those?
Well, a lot of people. Actually, they came up this week when we were because Hook is in a number 1 contenders match as we record this. We're recording it before Dynamite. So what?
Why is Hook in a number 1 contenders match?
Why? So he can lose? I mean, that's the reason. I mean, he's got this super long undefeated streak. So, they're at least they're playing off that. Like, I don't, people think I'm like defending this. I think it's stupid to have the title in a. Okay, so you've got the 4 guys in it are Joe, who just lost a world title match. You got Bobby Lashley, who just lost a 6-man title match. You've got Ricochet, who just lost to Lashley, and Hook, who is on a big winning streak, but nobody buys as a legitimate contender. And Joe is going to choke out Hook. Spoiler alert, that's the finish. While Bobby Lashley is in a rumble of tables because Gates of Agony put him through, and Ricochet's laughing instead of paying attention to the match, and as Joe's choking out Hook. That's my prediction for the finish. It's not a spoiler, and maybe it's wrong, but pretty sure that's what the finish is going to be. But we'll get to this show. And so Jeff, your overall thoughts. I mean, we kind of talked about it. Again, for the reasons we watched the 2 matches, we'll kind of run down the card quickly. We're not going to do it as in depth as we normally do for Dynamite because there's a few talking points I want to get to. But overall, like, what kind of like memories did you have of the time, or did it bring back anything that you'd forgotten about, or anything like that, or was it just like a show?
When I watched it this time, it was apparent to me that Tony doesn't like the things that make pro wrestling, so he shoved them all on that first hour.
Okay.
And then he said, the second hour, this is where the work rate kicks in. All the 3 big things on that first hour of this show, if this were just a 1-hour show of Dynamite, could have been the central focus of 3 different weeks. And it felt like, and even JR and Tony are kind of like going, wow, this is a lot of show right now. And I agree with them because it's one of those things where Shaq's debut should be special. Tully Blanchard's match should be special. And that press conference thing should be quote unquote special. And none of them are memorable because they're all 3 back to back to back to back almost.
Yeah. Like,
and
you're just squash match in between, but
but you don't remember that for the most part.
Pac and Phoenix. And I'm like, the whole time I watched that match, and then the rest of the show I'm watching. Sorry, I'll let you get to it. And I'm thinking, what the hell is the point? Like, why did we even have that match? And then I realized at the very end, they had this schmoz where 800 people ran in, and apparently all these people were in this battle royal. They didn't identify anybody, and all these teams were in this battle royal. And I guess
no
Phoenix
one gives a crap about that battle royal. And this is a go home show for your pay-per-view. It should be ending on something Omega and Moxley related, and it's not.
Who weren't even on the show.
Correct.
Yeah, Omega was not on there at all. Moxley was briefly in a video package to promote the match. They did have, like, that video package was good. I mean, they had Anita, talking about the exploding barbed wire death match, and so he's kind of endorsing Moxley and Omega. But like, it was a go home show for a pay per view. Where was it? Where were they?
Yeah, and it was such a lame finish because that thing with the battle royal, it's like, why are these guys all coming out and fighting? There's no reason to do it right now. They're just doing it because there's a battle royal at the end. But my personal memory of this show was being on cloud 9, seeing Tully Blanchard get a win after 32 years. And so I didn't care about the rest of this show. I was happy about the little mini Horseman reunion and being able to finally get some closure in my wrestling life. So I mean, I was happy with the show because of that, and I was also very impressed with the bump Shaq took. I was not impressed with the way they explained it away.
No, and especially since they did that bump with Shaq, and everybody remembers. I forgot about the bump and how great it was, but everyone remembers Shaq being loaded into the ambulance. I didn't remember how stupid it came off. Like, where they immediately opened the door and he's disappeared. And nobody knows what happened. And we'll get an update, which we never did, ever, to this day. And
I believe it's a different ambulance, too. I believe they didn't even bother to get two of the same ambulances.
And the reason that was given, I think eventually it came out, was just something Shaq wanted to do. Well, so tell him no. Like, you know?
Creative control for our celebrity.
And the problem with this is just the week before they had done an angle where someone got hauled away in an ambulance.
Yes.
And it was Papa Buck, and it was building to the tag team title match, which was a good thing to do to build to that match. But the funny thing is they couldn't even show highlights of it. They showed us still photos of the angle from the week before, like it was 1995, and you had to order the Dynamite replay in order to see this angle again.
I have an idea. I want to disappear. You want to what? I want to disappear. Put me in the ambulance. I'm going to disappear. You're 7'4". I know, but I was a genie in Kazam.
I want to disappear.
I want to disappear.
Yeah.
I like magic. It's fun.
If you're going to make me bump through a table, I'm going to disappear.
Actually, that's the deal. If I go through a table, I get to disappear out of an ambulance.
Tony's
all right.
Okay. Yeah, cool. And we'll never mention it again. I don't know if they ever brought it up on.
No, he's appeared in WWE since, I think.
Has he? I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't think so, actually. I could be wrong.
I thought he appeared like in a crowd or something.
He will now because they're on NBC, but actually, are they?
No, they're on ESPN. They're on ESPN.
Oh yeah. He'll be back. Probably with Cody and Jade at some point. Red Velvet should have got more out of this than she did.
Yes.
Yeah.
That actually is my one big take. Look, Jade came off impressive and they put her over big, but Red Velvet was the star of this match for a while. And the build when she came out to take over for Brandy, who I believe had just gotten pregnant.
Yeah, because they originally kind of announced this in November, and I think they were going to do it probably on the New Year's show. And then Brandy got pregnant, so they took a couple more months. And Shaq was in super good shape too. I'll say that. Like, he wasn't moving great or at all, but I mean, he looked good.
Yeah, but Shaq shouldn't have been the heel.
Well,
that's the big thing here. And he's acting like a heel, and he just wanted to go in there and play around and do his Ali shuffle.
Yeah.
And yeah, he was, and he got to chop. The chops are impressive because he's a big dude with a big hand.
Yeah.
But Red Velvet, I thought there was something to her on this debut, and then she gets beat.
Well, yeah, and it wasn't the debut for her, I don't think.
No, she had. I think she had one other match.
That's it
on Dynamite.
Okay.
She had matches on Dark or Elevation. Or
Yeah.
no, Elevation hadn't started yet, but Dark,
yeah.
And it was like one of those things where she hadn't gotten a win or anything, I don't think.
Gotcha. Yeah, and people were questioning, well, why is she in there and stuff.
Right.
Yeah.
But she had attitude, and I liked it. She had personality to me.
Yeah, and Cody was Cody. I mean, he didn't do much, couldn't really do much because Shaq couldn't do much, but they did what they needed to do.
Right.
Yeah, and Jade got the pin. So that was, that was good. And there was like a lot of fans. This was height of COVID. And they, you had the wrestlers around ringside, and then you couldn't really see the crowd. Every once in a while they would cut to them, but apparently I looked at the Observer and they had opened up more seats for this show than they normally had. So they got over 1,000 in there. And they'd been
and I think you'd have like 2 to a row on one side and 2 to a row, like 1 row back on another side and stuff like that.
Well, if they got 1,000, it was a little more than that, because even full, they only get like maybe 35. So, but they made a lot of noise for this match. And then it feels like either they left or they didn't care, because by the end of the show, they weren't making much noise. I think all those people came to see this and maybe stuck around for the Jurassic Express.
And this should have been the opener. I'm sorry. It should not have been the opener. It shocked me that it was. And how are you going to top this? The freak show fight with the big celebrity.
Oh, how are you going to top this? Well, the main event, of course. Adam Page and John Silver against Mark Quinn and Matt Hardy. That was the main event of the show. I couldn't believe it. That is AEW Dark mid-card. That match right there.
Yeah, but Tony thought of Matt Hardy as a big superstar, and he was trying to court Jeff at the time.
Yeah, Big Money Matt, which I had somehow managed to forget. And oh my God,
The Hardy family office.
Yeah, I don't know if that had started yet because
It had because they had the I think they had the graphic up on the screen when they came
was
out.
Andrade there yet? I'm not sure.
No. Well, Andrade bought the Hardy family office.
Gotcha. Okay, and then he renamed it the Andrade family office. You're right.
Correct.
You're right. Yeah. So yeah, you're right. Yeah, it was the Hardy family office. It was huge. I mean, you had Butcher, Bunny, Blade,
Angelico, Jack Evans, Private Party.
Jack Evans got his payoff. Did you notice that?
I love the Jack $4,200 on the
$4,200. Wasn't a check, wasn't a bag of cash. It was a piece of green cardboard with $4,200 written on it. Like, I don't know if this is like a token that you go and later cash in for.
Well, William McKinley's on the $4,200 bill, I believe, here in America.
Yeah, there you go. Now Tony Khan's giving away like $500,000 for random tag team matches, but back then, $4,200 for a run-in to help Max Caster beat 10 on AEW Dynamite.
And they're not even the worst part of this match. The worst part is Scorpio Sky had absolutely nothing to say on commentary.
Nope. And he was the one that ended up winning that Face of the Revolution ladder match.
Did he?
Spoiler
I thought Ethan
alert.
Page won it. Okay.
No, Ethan Page was the surprise.
Yes.
And at the time, people were like, is this Tony Khan's surprise, Ethan Page? And no, it wasn't. It ended up being Christian Cage. I think Mark Henry was later. And then Tony Khan learned from his announcement, because when Mark Henry came in, it was just like a surprise, an actual surprise. Like, it wasn't a surprise that he hyped, because people were really upset that he hyped a surprise that ended up being Christian Cage.
Yeah, and Henry was only brought in for commentary, right? He wasn't brought in to compete.
Correct. I mean, commentary and like
I think
coaching.
He was trying. Yeah, he was going to coach.
Yeah.
Who is coaching these days other than QT and Dustin? Anybody?
I think might be some people.
Might be.
Oh, you know who is? I believe Ortiz just came out.
That's right. Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Ortiz.
We didn't mention Austin and Colton Gunn, who were in the
audience.
They got involved in this match. They attacked Shaq with chairs. I think he no-sold it. Yeah. And so the
that's right, because they were part of the Nightmare Factory with QT and whatnot. The baby faces are interfering against the heel.
Yes. And I mean, it was so obvious that those guys were heels.
Yeah.
The star of the wrestlers at ringside, I think I pointed this out at the time, and I could not take my eyes off her, was that Kylan King.
Kylan King. I knew you were going to say that.
Yeah. I think she's getting ready to come back. She's been posting pictures. And she looks good. And so hopefully we're going to see her again. I think last seen in TNA, I don't know if she's still under contract to them, but she's been off for a long time. She had complications with her recovery and that. So they had that
question about Revolution before we move on to the rest of the card.
Yeah.
We had the Miro promo on here. Is this the match where Statlander appears in like the
no.
Okay.
No, that was way that was on Dynamite, I believe, and it was a little while later. I think it was a 6-person Kip, Miro, and Penelope against Taylor, Cassidy, and maybe Chuck. I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah, but no, that wasn't the same match. Oh God, I'm just looking at this pay-per-view. God. So we had that Shaq stuff. We had the crap with the ambulance. Then we had the squash match that we talked about. So it was Pac and Ray Phoenix against John Skyler and D3. I don't even think D3 got in the ring. And it was just, it was a quick win. The guys looked amazing. Like they should have been tag team champions. And then we never saw them again for the rest of the show. I didn't even know why.
No, we saw them in the Battle Royal.
Right. At the very end. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I figured out why they were doing this match. Until then, I had no idea. They never mentioned the Battle Royal on the pay-per-view during this match. We just, okay, these guys are teaming. I mean, they were 2/3 of the Death Triangle, so it made sense that they were teaming. Then we get the Inner Circle press conference, and I kind of remembered this for one reason. And what I didn't remember was that it started out, and it's AEW, so you have to have production issues. The first guy comes out and he talks in the microphone. You can't hear a word he says.
Right, and then they repeat the question. It's Robbie Fox of Barstool Sports.
Oh, so he actually was from Barstool. Okay, because Chris Jericho said he was from Barstool, and then 2 people later, someone else was from Barstool.
It is the guy from Barstool. No, AEW was courting Barstool hard at this time.
Okay. So I didn't
try and get pub off it because Barstool was the cool sports site at the time. This was Portnoy, and I believe they were still kind of a rebel unit. They hadn't really gotten a lot of the venture seed capital, I don't think. This is Robbie Fox, who I still follow on.
Okay, so I didn't recognize any of these people, including Conrad Thompson, who showed up, and he was just there so that MJF could make fun of him and call him turkey tits. And they talked about the Bucks angle from the week before. Santana Ortiz were there, and they made fun of them, and so you got the sense they were building. I guess MJF and Jericho were going to be challenging for the tag team titles, but you kind of almost got the impression that the real feud was Proud and Powerful or Santana Ortiz against the Bucks. Although I don't think that ever actually happened, because as we would find out over the years, all of these Chris Jericho vehicles are about getting Chris Jericho over and not really about getting the people he's with over.
What? Are you saying the Jericho Vortex is real?
Yeah, kind of, maybe. And then the last person to come in was a gentleman by the name of Eric B. from the 83 Weeks podcast, who some people may recognize as Eric Bischoff, who now makes a living off of making fun
trashing of AEW,
anything and everything. And I think this is not the only time he appeared on AEW television.
No.
I assume he got paid. So he comes out, and the whole deal was, him and Jericho had this long history from being in WCW together, and he asked a question about the Bucks, and then that ended up, the end result of this was Matt and Nick coming out, and they cut a promo. It was a pretty good promo. MJF made fun of Nick's hair, which is kind of ironic given MJF's issues that he would later on have with hair. But to be fair, there is something going on with Nick's hair. I don't know what it is, but
I have a theory, and I don't know if it's real or not, but I figure it's one of those things where, Bischoff was kind of high on AEW for a short time. Then he does this thing, and then he just starts trashing them. And I think he was expecting a job. And I can't prove that. But shortly thereafter, he started appearing more and more on WWF on these or WWE on these reunion shows and homecoming shows and
all the
announcements and stuff like that. And I think I think he wanted a job, he didn't get it, and so he went to WWE and goes, "Hey, they're not going to pay me. Would you pay me to keep me on retainer or whatever?" And so they did.
And to trash them.
Yeah.
Oh, that's just a bonus. If you pay me, I'll trash them.
That's a throw-in.
Yeah. It ended up with a brawl. A bunch of people are out there. I couldn't even make out who they all were, and you almost had to pause to see because they didn't tell you. But the Brandon Cutler was there, and Doc Gallows, Carl Anderson. So they were still around, or were around again.
They called them these two goofs, and then later go, "Oh, they're the TNA tag team champions."
Yeah, right. Yeah, because they were working with TNA kind of at the time.
Yeah.
Actually, not kind of. They were, because Sammy Guevara wasn't there.
Kenny Omega went over there and became champion for a
right. And Sammy Guevara, who they pointed out wasn't here, and Jericho, I guess they were pretending they were feuding. And it turned out to be a swerve. But the reason he wasn't there was because he had been asked to go to TNA to do some work, and he turned them down. He's like, "I'm not going there." And then
I remember that because they gave him the booking plans and he said, "No, thanks."
Yeah, that doesn't work for me, brother. And so, he ended up back in AEW, and I think that's kind of when things started to go sideways with him.
And the angle was wasn't it because he surrendered at Blood and Guts?
Yeah, I think so. But Blood and Guts hadn't even happened yet, had it?
Or maybe I'm wrong on that. I'm possibly wrong on that. My time.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I'm not.
Because Blood Guts didn't happen during COVID, so you're correct.
I think it happened at Double or Nothing 2021.
he lost a match or something like that.
Yeah.
And so Jericho goes, I don't want to speak to you anymore or whatever.
Yeah. And then he disappeared, but he ended up coming back.
Yeah.
So they did the video package with Onita and Moxley. I think like Omega and Callis were kind of in it, but it was more like highlights. They didn't actually say anything specifically for the thing. It was really odd. And again, it was Omega was the champion, and I didn't even like. It was a while into the show before I even figured out that Omega was the champion at the time. Because
this was when he was doing his heel, pretending to be
a
flaky champion. I think he's basically trying to do what he thinks an impression of Ric Flair was.
Yeah, and Moxley was kind of like I call him Dean Moxley here. He was still transitioning from Dean Ambrose into John Moxley. Didn't quite have the Moxley character down. But
they needed to do more with that with the Callis in the workshop thing.
That's right. They showed that was where they showed. So Kenny Omega was building the equipment that they were going to use for the exploding barbed wire death match. That's right. So it's reminded people of that angle they did in the 90s with the Undertaker building a casket.
Yes.
Yeah. It was that. Oh my God. Some of this stuff was not great. Although I imagine some people like that. So then we got the match, and it was the best wrestling match on the show. And probably one of the better TV matches of that year, honestly, because, we didn't get these 4.5, 5-star matches every week back then. FTR and Tully Blanchard against the Jurassic Express of Luchasaurus, Jungle Boy, and Marco Stunt. And Tully Blanchard was out. It was his first match on national television in 32 years. So this is 2021.
2021. So his last match was in WWF with the Brainbusters because
1989.
he got fired right before Survivor Series.
Yeah, he did some stuff with ECW, but again, that wasn't national television.
He did some stuff in the Mid-Atlantic region for some smaller promotions. I think he did some Japan too. He went over to and did a stint in either New Japan or All Japan. I can't remember which because I
think he was he had been put in the WWE Hall of Fame by this point. I'm not positive.
No.
Okay.
He was only in there with the Horsemen. That was during Ric Flair's retirement run.
Right, and it was Wyndham they put in, and not Blanchard, right? It was Wyndham.
Oh wait. Okay, hold on. When you say he was in the Hall of Fame at this point, do you mean?
I meant the WWE Hall of
Dynamite.
Fame.
I mean during Dynamite, not during when he was already fired or whatever. Or when he was in ECW. No. They put the Wyndham Horsemen in there, but it was Flair, Arn, Tully, and Barry because Ole had been offered, and he said,
gotcha. So Tully was in the Hall of Fame then.
Yes, he was. Okay, I'm sorry, but I was getting two things mixed up there.
Yeah.
But he was there. They had been teasing back in the WCW days for years that Tully was coming back. Like they did an entire pay-per-view angle for a Horseman reunion, and then they lowballed Tully on the offer. And this is right before, he did ECW. But he had also appeared on Slamboree 94, 95.
Yeah, we talked about that last week.
The Funk match, but that's pay-per-view. That doesn't count as national TV.
Right. And he didn't do any TV leading.
Oh, and he did Legends of Wrestling against Stan Lane. It was the best thing on the card because that card was
also
terrible.
not on national television. So
correct.
It was
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, he looked. I mean, for a 67-year-old guy,
country club shape. That's I think that's how his daughter referred to it as. But God bless him, he's still a manager, so he has to show up with something. This butterfly collar with the initials on the side is ridiculous. With that robe, it just looks so stupid. But he's a manager. He learned from the master J.J. Dillon because J.J. Dillon would always Do you remember when he was doing the War Games? He wore something like that, a butterfly collar with like the blue and red. It looked almost exactly like that.
You brought up JJ. He was also in the corner. He was in the corner of FTR and Tully, and Arn. Yeah, and Arn was in the corner of the other team, right?
No, Arn came out after the match.
Oh, okay. I noticed Arn there. I was like, They also FTR had Arn and Tully's tag team titles.
Yes.
Yeah, and Tully was out with the
Black
old
robe
US
that he
title
wore-
belt.
Yeah, and the black robe he wore at Starrcade '85. Yeah.
Which was the Magnum match, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So they had a good match, and the end part came when Jungle Boy did a tope on a masked man who was pretending to be a cameraman, which actually works because the way that, if you've noticed, like a lot of the AEW production people, they dress in black from head to toe a lot of times. So
Yes.
you didn't necessarily realize this was a plant, and it turns out it was Sean Spears, and then Spears, Blanchard. So what happened here? So the masked man hit Luchasaurus with his camera. Harwood and Wheeler picked up Luchasaurus, went for a pile driver. Blanchard jumped off the middle rope, did the spike pile driver, pinned Luchasaurus.
Yes.
Yeah, and then they all celebrated, and that's when Arn Anderson came up. Everybody held up 4 fingers, and
I believe this was after the Sean Spears had Tully's picture on his tights that one time. Do you remember that where he got like stripped down and he ended up having his face on his crotch or something? And
right.
But this was basically the opening to the Pinnacle.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I mean, we would eventually, because they eventually added MJF when he turned on Jericho.
Yes, MJF.
So FTR gets a win here. Jurassic Express lost, and we got a pay-per-view on Sunday. FTR was not on the pay-per-view. Jurassic Express was in the Battle Royal, and ended up making it all the way to the end when Jungle Boy got eliminated by Rey Fenix. So, not exactly sure what the point of doing this was, but
to make FTR happy. I believe they had only been in the company like less than a year at this point.
Yeah, but why aren't they on the pay-per-view?
I don't know.
God, we're going to go over this Revolution card, but you wouldn't believe the teams that were in this Battle Royal.
I saw them and I went, oh my God.
I didn't even I'm looking and there's no way I could tell you who even half the teams were as I'm watching it.
I believe the Bears were both in it.
Yeah,
they were the first ones in there.
The Bears, there was a couple different Dark Order teams.
TH2.
The Natural Nightmares.
Yes.
Pretty Picture, which was Cesar Bononi and Peter Avalon.
Oh, good Lord.
The Varsity Blondes. The
Varsity Blondes, I remember being in there.
Yeah. So, and then a bunch of teams, Butcher and Blade. And I think Butcher has the AEW record for most eliminations in Battle Royals. That's something they always mention whenever they do one of these. Then we got the Paul White interview with Tony Schiavone, and his new nickname is No More BS. I think this might have been his debut.
It was.
Yeah.
And God bless him. One thing you don't want to do when you want to get yourself over is be self-deprecating.
Yes.
And he was full on, hey, you knew me when I had hair. Hey, who could expect to see this turn? Hey. It's just like, oh my God, dude, you're undercutting everything about your aura right now. Stop that. I was watching this on a treadmill and I'm kind of shouting at the phone. I'm going, stop this. Somebody stop him. Tell me he's a good person.
I'm reading Dave Meltzer's. I got his recap up here, and he says, no more BS. I guess it means whatever you want to mean. Either you don't have to deal with BS or no more Big Show. Dave, I think it's the latter. I think it means no more Big Show. This was their
reading all jokes literally as he does.
Yeah. It's funny because they put him over as the world's biggest wrestler in here, and we had just seen Shaq, who is way bigger than Paul White.
Yes.
Yeah. So that was an interesting choice. But here's where he plugged that AEW is going to hire a Hall of Fame worthy talent. He's going to sign a multi-year contract, and it's not who you think it is.
I have scoops, he says. I just went, oh no, that's not why people are watching you here, Paul.
No, but that was a selling point for the pay-per-view, apparently.
Mm-hmm.
Then we got the finals of the AEW Women's Eliminator Tournament. And I remember this because they had matches from Japan
Yes.
that were done in an empty building, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And I think they aired on YouTube. And
Yes.
And they were people you've never heard of wrestling against each other. Although I think there was one, I think Riho might have been in it. And she
No,
didn't win.
they had people you knew. It was Riho, Yuka Sakazaki.
Oh, right. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Because Yuka Sakazaki was who this woman beat in
Maki Ito was in it too.
Yeah. At the time, we might not have known her, but
people knew who she was from online, though.
But the winner was Rio Mizunami.
Yes.
Which, of course, like you got a Rio and a Riho, which is a little confusing. And then on the American side, it was Nyla Rose. And I can't even remember who she beat because they put up the graphics, but they didn't actually show the full graphics. So all you could see was the semifinals, even though there was other brackets that you could see that were there, but they weren't on the screen. So I couldn't see. You're pulling them up, it looks like.
I'm trying to. I don't think I'm going to be able to.
But we got this match and it was a good match. Like, but it was a match that like nobody cared about. Honestly, like it was, according to Cage Match, it was the best match on the show. I thought the 6-man was, but this was, I mean, a really good match. Nyla Rose is tremendously underrated. Like, I don't know why they don't use her more because she
I think Nyla beat Thunder Rosa, but don't quote me.
Okay, that makes sense. Yeah, because she was around at the time.
Yes.
She was in a pre-show match on this.
Yes.
That they were promoting her and Britt Baker and Rebel against Thunder Rosa and Rio, I think.
Yes.
Yeah.
And this is where I think no, never mind. I was thinking of something else. I was thinking of
that was the only match, actually. They had one match pre-shows at the time. 14 and almost 15 minutes they went. Britt Baker and so it actually, Rebel ended up not being in the match and they replaced her with Maki Ito. And so it was Britt and Maki Ito against Riho and Thunder Rosa. And
yes, because that was part of the angle was Rebel was injured and Britt would have the right to pick her partner. So she picked Maki Ito.
Correct.
Who was over like Rover on that pre-show, as I recall.
Yeah. And that was it. Like they only had the one match on the pre-show, which, God, I remember those days.
But this match on Dynamite is where I really turned heel on Jim Ross. Okay. Jim Ross could not give two craps about this match.
No.
And throughout the night, even in the only other match of the night, I mean, it's just basically he's there to crack wise. He's there to have fun. He's not locked in as old JR might have been. Tony's still in his impressed by everything phase, which isn't helping Jim Ross stay focused because
Tony had his moments too. He kept calling Mark Quinn Isaiah Cassidy, even though Isaiah Cassidy was not injured and was nowhere near the match.
I think he was still fairly new to commentary. Don't quote
Tony. I mean, maybe. I mean, he'd been around since the beginning, but he may have.
Had he?
Yeah, we reviewed the first match, and he was there.
Well,
he was in the crowd.
I thought it was. But yes, he was in the crowd. I just didn't know.
But when we did the January 8th, 2020 show, he was on that show.
You're right.
Yeah, so he started.
But Jim Ross is just coming in, and Ro Mizunami isn't helping things either because they're wrestling this match in particular. Somebody needed to give them stage directions that they were wrestling and quote unquote, they needed to wrestle an empty arena match. And they were playing to the crowd instead. And it didn't work for this half full arena for the most part. Like she's doing the mime stuff with the rope.
And nobody knew who she was, and nobody cared about Nyla. That was part of the problem too. So you had the crowd that was super hot for the Shaq match and kind of a little bit for the Tully match, and they were dead here. And they assumed
Nyla was going to win this match for the rematch with
Shida. Yeah, and Shida was at ringside, just standing there.
Shida. Big win.
Yeah. So Rio wins. And
and then the aftermath of this match is
it was so stupid. So she comes out and she, Rio or Sheeta congratulates her and lifts her hand up, and you're waiting for it. And of course, Rio churns on her, and Sheeta no sells the churn. And
it's not a turn. It's not sold as that. It's sold
it's sold as like
two
strong
competitors.
style. Yeah.
Yes, it's two. Look at them. They're gonna in this match. It's like, no, they're two baby faces who decide to sucker punch each other. That's stupid.
And then they basically, they kind of stopped doing it and then held each other's hands up, and it's like, look what we just did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know who I'll just call her Ro here, reminded me of with some of her gesticulations quite a bit. There's a lot of Jamie Hayter in her.
Oh, okay.
Even with the fur coat, doing the thing with the
yeah.
Head up and everything. There's a lot of Jamie Hayter in her. Let's put it that way.
Yeah. And she was like, like she didn't look
tired?
small. She didn't look small in there with Nyla either.
No.
Like they both had good size.
She retired? I need to look this up.
I don't know.
I haven't heard from her in years.
This is the first I heard from her probably since I saw this match.
Well, no, she was an original, I think.
Well, they said she had done a match on the first Double or Nothing, and that was the only other time we'd seen her before this tournament. So I watched the tournament though. I remember
the March 10th episode of Dynamite, Mizunami team with Sheeta and Thunder Rosa, where they defeated Nyla Rose, Maki Ito, and Britt Baker, DMD, and that's all they have of her.
Wow. Okay, there you go.
Huh.
So after this, we get Sting out for an interview. So yeah, he was there. I guess he had debuted on a couple months earlier at Winter is Coming, and they were setting up a cinematic match that they were going to have on Revolution, which I remember being awesome.
Yes, it was better. It was better than it had a right to be. That's what I remember. Sting
and Darby against. I mean, it was billed as Sting and Darby against Ricky Starks and Brian Cage, but it was really against the whole House of Taz or whatever they were called, Taz Family Office,
Team Taz,
Team Taz. Yeah. And man, these guys, bunch of jobbers they were. Ricky Starks comes out to interrupt him and kind of a. I don't know, it's like a 4 out of 10 Ricky Starks promo. And then Sting just basically, he called Sting an icon, slapped him in the face. So Sting punked him out and put him in the Scorpion Deathlock. And
they were teasing the Ricky Starks babyface turn
in
this promo. And then he swerved himself and said, "You're an icon, but not a legend," or something. And slapped him. It was stupid.
And it was we were like a year away from the Starks babyface turn, I think. Yeah. Or maybe not a year, but 6 months.
I thought it was right after this match. I thought it was like because Cage loses the match.
Because when he lost,
it becomes about the FTW title after that. Something like that.
And because he won the title from Brian Cage. And then they turned on him, I think.
Oh, that's right. They turned on Cage first, and then
and then they end up losing. He ends up losing the title to Hook.
I like Ricky Starks. I don't love Ricky Starks.
Now you're talking this Ricky Starks or the current one?
I'm talking all Ricky Starks.
Okay. Yeah.
Because, and I don't know, and I've tried to word this in different ways, and I'm going to word it again to be very careful with what I say. But he projects femininity.
I know what you're getting
with
at.
His style choices, with his entrance, even with his gear in some ways. It's one of those things where I don't know if he's trying to be, for lack of a better term, fey in order to belie a certain toughness underneath. But even in NXT, it's kind of the same way. And I'm just watching going, all right, in an earlier time period, he would have had a much worse gimmick.
Like he would have been, like Rico.
People would have been chanting certain epithets at him.
Yeah. To me, he comes off very slight.
That too.
And he's not as small as he looks, if that makes sense. Like,
no, he's tall, but he's thin. And that's something.
But it's not even that he is thin. It's he dresses thin and he acts thin. Like,
Yes.
so he's not like, so normally when a guy is built like that or looks like that, they project a tougher attitude, or they dress
Yes.
differently to highlight the things that are impressive about them. Ricky Starks has an impressive physique, but he dresses like a model.
Right.
And so, you know, like, so what he comes off as is he looks like Kit Wilson, but like 8 inches shorter. Like,
Yes, and
you know,
and with
like
smaller trunks, like him
right,
and
yeah.
him and he's now El Grande Americano.
Yeah. Ludwig
They
Kaiser.
yeah, they're having a contest as whose tights could be smaller on the same kind of frame.
Yeah.
But it's one of those. But he comes out here, and he's giving the "I respect you" promo, possibly to lull Sting in, I think. But then he doesn't punch him; he slaps him.
Yeah.
And that's another part of it. And then as JR points out, the literal metaphor that happens in the ring where he gets the shoes knocked out, or he gets knocked out of his own shoes.
Shoes are literally knocked off. So Brian Cage and Taz come out and make the save. Cage goes to powerbomb Sting, but then Darby Allin just hauls ass to get out there. Like, I've never seen a guy get to the ring quicker than he did. Although, to be fair, I think the ramp was about 3 feet long. So he jumps on Cage's back. His pants are falling down.
Yes.
Meanwhile, Hook shows up at some point in this, and essentially the bottom line is Sting and Darby chased off 4 guys all on their own. You know, which is great. I mean, they look like great baby faces, but it really didn't make you think that Team Taz was much of a threat to these guys on the pay.
No, and Taz can't do anything, so he's kind of lumbering to the ring. Hook's not going to do anything, so he's kind of staying in the background.
Very new at this point. Like,
yes,
yeah.
So it's one of those things where you have 2 guys who aren't going to bump, and 2 guys who can bump, and it's like, okay, cool.
3. I mean, Hobbs was there too, and Hobbs was still very green at this point too. So, and a lot smaller than he currently is.
Yes.
So, yeah.
Okay. I'm glad I wasn't the only one who thought that.
No. Yeah. So then we got Max Caster and Ken, which was Preston Vance, not Sean Spears. And they had a bad match. Like, you said the second half of the show was all work rate. I was like, what were you watching?
But in Tony's mind, it was work rate. I'm putting on these wrestlers.
Oh, because they weren't. I mean, this was a bad match. Like, and they went like 9 minutes. And Max Caster, like, his rap was great. I forgot how great his raps were before he started doing comedy. Like, well, this was comedy, but it was better. Like, it was biting. It was the rhythm was there. Like, he actually,
it was a time capsule of what was going on in the world at that time.
Yeah, which, I mean, didn't get some of it because
he referenced Lady
Gaga
dog walker getting shot in February.
See, I didn't, and that's not. I assume that happened.
I looked it up after listening to it. To be honest with you, I was like, oh, I remember there was a Lady Gaga story at the time. I can't remember what it was, but it's just
he threatened to beat up Brody Jr., I think, who was there. -1. So -1 is the leader of the Dark Order at this point,
the big focus of this match is, we got Scorpio Sky here on commentary, and he has a great broadcasting voice, but he has nothing to say.
And he kept asking the camera to focus on him, and they wouldn't.
Yeah, they told him, get yourself over, and he just literally bypassed certain questions that they asked him because he couldn't think of anything on the fly. Like,
great voice. Like, I think he ended up doing a podcast after this because
like, what advantages do you have in a ladder match over these guys? And he just would not answer it
because he probably didn't have any. It's like, I mean,
and he's not saying anything about the 2 guys in the match other than I can beat him.
Yeah, which, we know. I mean, it's Max Caster and it's 10. So Jack Evans ended up showing up masked, but I mean, it's like a COVID mask, so you knew who it was. And he hit Preston Vance with a boombox and set up a pin. And then Matt Hardy pays him off $4,200, and and that was that. $4,200.
I'm still laughing. 4,200, and it's on
on a green card. So I guess at the end of the month you get to bring in all your little green cards and cash them in, and Matt will pay you. I don't know.
And
I don't know how that works.
And then Jack Evans would spend it all on weed, probably.
Oh, 100%. And so the match that they were having, and they would talk about it in the next match, which is the main event, Adam Page and John Silver against.
This stipulation is the stupid.
Well, do you remember the payoff?
I believe there was some. I believe wasn't the payoff that Hardy then suckered Private Party out of their money or something.
Well, yeah, that ended up being part of it. But what happened was Adam Page wins.
Yes.
He gets all Matt's money for the first quarter of 2020.
But he doesn't get the figure money or something? He doesn't.
He gets the figure money.
Okay.
So he gets all of Matt's wages, all of Matt's merchandise money for the first quarter of 2021. So him and the Dark Order use that money to buy tractors.
Oh, that's right. And that's
that's
where Alan Angels gets like written off during the course of this thing. Yeah.
Yes, that was what it was. They came out, I think, on a Dynamite riding their tractors. And that was the payoff to this stupid angle. Adam Page looked like a man among boys. I mean, that's the best way to put it. He was there. His heart was not in this. He was like, it was like he was helping out some old friend that he didn't even like anymore, was kind of how it came off. There's one point where John Silver steals a tag, almost like it looked like, and Adam Page is just like,
and JR had fallen in love with calling him Johnny Hungy.
Johnny Hungy. He woke up for this match. He loved his little Johnny Hungy. Johnny Hungy, who's like a foot shorter than anyone else in this match, but over as hell to the crowd. Like they loved him. God bless Matt Hardy, but I mean, he's better now.
This is when we thought the other half of the Beaver Boys was going to get fired because they fell so much in love with John Silver and putting him in matches that they never put the other guy in matches.
And they're all still around. I mean, 10 is in the frat house.
Yes.
Brody Lee just keeps getting bigger and bigger.
Well, Cole Cabana's not really around all that much anymore.
Well, I think he still works backstage.
He got attacked by Moxley on Collision. Remember?
Oh, right. Yeah, that's right. And never mentioned again. But I was told that was very important in setting up the Hangman feud. Whatever.
They lost the thread when they didn't make Yuka Sakazaki the head of the Dark Order after Anna Jay left, because Anna Jay was really the heart and soul of that whole bit anyway. So
and then when they had 10 churn on Brody, and I said
yes,
and they were like, oh my god, in 8 years when Brody wrestles, this is going to be such a big match.
Well, we got a future of -1 during that battle royal where
he's directing traffic. Matt Hardy's like scared of him. Like
all he does is grab his mask and shake his head. It's phenomenal.
The little guy got a paycheck anyway, so that was cool.
Get paid. That's all that
matters. So apparently in this main event, the match was originally supposed to be a 10-man tag, but some of the people in the match failed COVID tests, so they weren't able to work. So
that's right, because they were testing them outside of the arena, weren't they?
Yeah. So I don't know who. They did mention that Isaiah Cassidy was injured, so it probably wasn't him. But I mean, Matt Hardy had a bunch of people in his family office, so
I'm guessing Butcher and Blade and Bunny probably all failed because they weren't on the or no, they came out for the Battle Royal.
Yeah, they were there. They were there. So I mean, it was and Page and Silver. I mean, it was could have been the rest of the Dark Order. So, but I didn't see Alan Angels out there, so it could have been him.
Would you be able to tell if you'd seen him?
Yeah. Well, probably not. No, because he was in a mask. So I did notice.
But also, who's Uno's partner? Stu Grayson. Stu Grayson and Alan Angels look very much alike.
They do, except Stu's like half a foot taller. Yeah.
Yes.
I did notice Fuego del Sol at ringside at points. Who is now? Have you seen what he's doing these days? He's lost the mask and he's a heel in GCW and he's great.
Right. Yeah.
He's a great promo, that dude. He's one guy that he just goes out there to try to get heat and
he was a fun Twitter follow, as I recall, too.
Yeah. Well, he riled everyone up because Eddie thought he was retiring, and all he was doing was retiring the Fuego del Sol character, but he
Gotcha.
he still wrestles as whatever his name is now. But so Silver, Page pinned Quinn with a buckshot to win the match, and Matt Hardy was outside the ring and could have broke up the pin, but he was scared of Hangman, so he wouldn't. And then we broke down into the schmoz at the end with everybody in the Battle Royal coming out. So I've got the card up here. So we had, just looking quickly, the best match on the show on the pay-per-view was actually the women's match, according to Cage Match, which gave it an 8.08. But according to Dave, the best match on the show was the main event, the Kenny Omega John Moxley match, which I remember being a good match until the finish. And I don't like these kind of matches, but I remember liking this one. But
I remember liking the cinematic match more than anything.
So the card itself was the Young Bucks and the Inner Circle. Young Bucks retained the tag team titles. Dave gave it 4.25. They had the Battle Royal. He gave 4 stars. Hawk and Ray Phoenix, Bear Country, Jurassic Express, Matt and Mike Seidel, Private Party, SCU of Christopher Daniels and Frankie Kazarian, Butcher and the Blade, Dark Order, Reynolds and Silver, Dark Order, Evil and Stu, Dark Order, 5 and 10. So 3 different Dark Order teams. The Gun Club, Austin and Colton. The Inner Circle, Ortiz and Santana. The Natural Nightmares, Dustin Rhodes and QT Marshall.
QT. Yeah.
The Pretty Picture, Cesar Bononi and Peter Avalon, and the Varsity Blondes. 26-45 this match went. I can't imagine how bad this would be if I watched it back now.
No thanks.
Hikaru Shida retained the title against Ryo Mizunami. That Dave gave it 3.5 stars. Kip Sabian and Miro beat Chuck Taylor and Orange Cassidy, which Dave generously gave 2.75. Cage Match didn't like that one, so I imagine that was pretty bad. Adam Page pinned Big Money Matt, 3.5 stars.
A terrible gimmick that was, too.
Oh, it was. Scorpio Sky won the Face of Revolution ladder match. And he beat Cody Rhodes, Lance Archer, Max Caster, and Penta. Those are the advertised people. And the surprise was Ethan Page, as you mentioned earlier. And if you'll recall, whenever they would do these Face of Revolution matches, they would always have a surprise, and the surprise would never win. That was the gimmick. Yeah, because I remember one time it was Matt Seidel and
Leo Rush, as I recall, was a surprise they brought in. I believe also
I think Ruby Sky
at
one point
Sky,
for a women's match.
Might have been it. Yeah.
Or Ruby Soho, I guess, right?
Yeah, that's right. Because she came out, and everybody cheered her. She was over, and then they beat her.
Yep. So the cinematic match, Dave didn't rate it, but it got 7.81 on Cage Match. So it was the second best match on the show. But they really do tend to overrate Japanese women's matches. So in actuality, it was probably the best match on the show. And it got 7.81, which would be the equivalent of about 4.25 stars from Dave. But he refused to rate this match because it was cinematic. Darby and Sting beat Team Taz. And then the main event, 4.5 stars. Kenny Omega retained the title against John Moxley. So, I mean, that lineup on paper does not sound great. I have zero desire to go back and watch that. I suppose if we get like $100 in super chats, maybe I could be persuaded. No, okay. Jeff says not even for $100. Not going back and watching AEW Revolution. If I was ever going to watch a show from this time period, I think.
All right, hold on. For 100, I would. For 25, I'm not.
I think I would go back and watch the Double or Nothing in 2020, which was the first time they came back in front of a live crowd, even with like not very many fans. But that was the one that had the Stadium Stampede with Sammy Guevara in the golf cart. I think I would watch that one again. But I don't really have any desire to see these pandemic era pay-per-views ever again. WWE, I wouldn't do it for 500. I'm not watching that shit ever again.
I'm looking at this women's eliminator tournament, and it's just like everybody's still working, but some of them not so much. I mean, the Japanese half, you got a lot. You got Yuka, you got Mei Saruga, Emi Sakura, Ro, Aja Kong is in it, Maki Ito's in it. On the other side, Layla Hirsch, Thunder Rosa, Serena Deeb, Riho, Ty Conti, Nyla Rose, Britt Baker, and Maddie Renkowski.
Oh, Ren Sinclair.
Mm-hmm. Who I'm a big fan of.
Yeah. Wow. Okay.
This is when Maddie still had the ponytail. As I recall, this is when people turned on her.
Right, because they thought she was copying Bianca Belair.
Correct.
Good Lord. Yeah, and WWE got themselves something there that they'll never do anything with, and she'll be probably let go quietly on a Friday afternoon in 2027.
You might be surprised.
I hope I am. I really like her a lot. So
talk to you in a bit.
Okay. All right. So that was that. I thought it was it was an easy show to watch. I'll say that. I watched it. Oh, so we're recording this on Tuesday night. And so last night, of course, was the longest World Series game in history. My plan was I was going to watch the game and then I was going to watch this show after the game. The game ended at 2 a.m. my time. So I woke up this morning, I put it on, I watched the first hour and 10 minutes, and then I watched the rest on my lunch hour. And skipping through the picture-in-picture, it was about an hour and 40 minutes. So it was, it was pretty easy to watch. Honestly, like, it wasn't as good as a current Dynamite, but I would say it's probably easier to watch because there's less going on. I think that
first hour was more interesting. I mean, that Shaq match alone is more interesting than most stuff they put on Dynamite.
Yeah, definitely interesting, newsworthy, all that. And one thing I'll point out to finish, I did look up the ratings, and they did 934,000 for this show, which was the highest they had done since the Brody Lee tribute show after he died. And it was they wouldn't get to this level again until April of 2021, which was when they went on a hot streak, and that was when the rumors of CM Punk were starting, and they started to get really hot around April and would stay hot right through until like October. And then the NBA season started, and then their kind of momentum kind of died, but we were just about to head into the super hot period of AEW. So, but yeah, good show. We'll do this again sometime when we get some more money. So keep those super chats coming, people. And Jeff, keeping in mind that it's Sunday, you got anything to plug? Shake Them Ropes was great. I really enjoyed that show on Saturday.
Yeah, you can download Shake Them Ropes on either the Voices of Wrestling super feed or its own feed, Shake Them Ropes. Also, within the Fight Game Media mega feed, I just did the watch back with John LaRocca and Garrett watching Halloween Havoc 1993.
Cool. And I did not do the takedown because of that baseball game. So Garrett and I should be back tomorrow, although I will be in Las Vegas. I do plan to bring my equipment with me, so we will be doing a Dynamite show on Wednesday. It'll probably be a shorter one than usual because I'm going to be jonesing for blackjack. But I will watch the show and I will record with Jeff. It's my last night in Vegas. I'm going to spend it podcasting. What the hell's wrong with me?
With me, not even with anybody cool. It's podcasting with me.
Well, that's the cool part. So for Jeff Hawkins, I've been Paul Fontaine, and this has been the Dynamite Show Rewind.